Hello everyone. Today, let's talk about something very important for learning English. Reading. Many of my students ask me the same question. Why do I need to read in English? They tell me, I go to English classes. I do my homework. I watch English movies. Isn't that enough? That's a good question. But here's the truth. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your English. Let me explain why. First, let's talk about the world today. In the past, very few people went to university. In 2006, only 1 out of every 100 people studied at university. Now, that number is 7 out of 100. More people study now, and most jobs today need more reading and writing than jobs in the past. No matter who you are, an office worker, a mechanic, or even a driver, you need reading and writing skills. These skills help you in your job and in your daily life. That's why reading is more important than ever before. Second, reading is powerful because it helps you in many areas of English. It helps your speaking, your writing, your vocabulary, and your grammar. You might be surprised. Reading doesn't help your listening directly, but it gives you more words. And when you know more words, you understand listening more easily. Maybe in school you read English textbooks. Maybe they were boring, and the stories had questions and grammar exercises at the end. That is not the kind of reading I'm talking about. I want you to read for pleasure. Reading for pleasure means reading a book because you want to, not because your teacher says so. It's reading for fun, not for homework. You choose a book that you like and enjoy the story. It's a simple idea, but it can change how you learn English. Let me tell you a true story. In 1965, there was an interesting experiment in the United States. Some schools had boys who got into trouble. These boys had done small crimes like stealing. The schools wanted to help them. So they gave some of the boys free books. Books that were fun to read, like James Bond stories. The teachers didn't say, "You must read." They said, "You can read if you want to. You don't have to." And guess what? The boys started reading. Some of them read a book every 2 days. That's a lot of reading. After 2 years, they took a test. The boys who read books did better in reading and writing. They also started to like school more. But the boys who didn't get the books? Their reading and writing didn't improve. In fact, some of them got worse. And this is not just true for native English speakers. A similar experiment happened in the Fiji Islands, where students were learning English. The teachers used 3 different methods. The first group had normal English classes, grammar rules, vocabulary lists, and exercises. The second group read books silently in class. The third group listened while the teacher read books to them. What happened after 1 year? The students who read books, either silently or by listening, did much better than the students who only had grammar lessons. They even did the experiment again in Singapore, and the results were the same. The students who read quietly in class did the best, even in grammar tests. That's right, reading helped them learn grammar better than grammar classes. Why does this happen? Because when we read, we see grammar and vocabulary many times in real stories. Our brain remembers better when we enjoy learning. When we read, we don't try hard to memorize. We just learn naturally. So now you see, reading for fun really works. It's not just an idea. Many studies and experiments show the same result. When you read books that you enjoy, you learn more, faster, and with less stress. Now, let me share something very personal with you. A few years ago, I really wanted to learn Spanish. I had tried to study it in the past, but it was always difficult. I went to a few classes, I tried grammar exercises, I used apps on my phone, but nothing seemed to work. I always forgot what I learned, and I couldn't understand native speakers when they talked fast. I felt disappointed and frustrated, and I almost gave up. But then, I read something interesting. I read that reading books in another language can help you learn faster and more naturally. So I thought, why not try this? I found a small storybook in Spanish. It was written for children, and the language was simple. The sentences were short and the story was fun. I didn't understand every word, but I didn't stop. I just kept reading. At first it was hard. I saw many new words that I didn't know. Sometimes I wanted to use the dictionary for every sentence, but I didn't. I told myself, just enjoy the story. Try to understand the meaning from the pictures and the sentences. And slowly my brain started to understand. I didn't need to translate every word into English. I could understand the story as it was. After I finished that book, I felt very happy. I thought, wow, I read a whole book in Spanish. So I read another book, then another. After some time, I started reading longer books. I read books that I already knew in English, like Harry Potter and The Little Prince. It was easier because I already knew the story. Later, I read new books by Spanish authors from Latin America. I read stories by Isabel Allende and other famous writers. The books were more difficult, but also more beautiful. I didn't just read. I also listened to Spanish podcasts. But I didn't just listen. I always read the transcript too, the written words of the podcast. I wanted to understand both the sound and the meaning. Every time I saw a new word, I added it to my reading goal. My goal was to read 1 million words in Spanish. That's about 20 full books. It took time and effort, but it was fun. After 1 year of reading and listening, I took a test. I talked with native Spanish speakers. I wrote essays. I was surprised. I could speak and write Spanish quite well. I was not perfect, but I was good. I could understand books, podcasts, and conversations. And the best part? I didn't spend many hours studying grammar. I didn't memorize boring word lists. I learned the language naturally, just by reading and enjoying. So why am I telling you this? Because if I can do it with Spanish, you can do it with English. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to understand every word. You just need to start reading, little by little. Find a book that you enjoy. It can be a storybook, a comic, or even a magazine. Don't read because someone told you to. Read because you want to. Read because it makes you smile, laugh, or think. That is the secret. That is the best way to improve. Reading for fun is powerful. It helped me, and I believe it will help you too. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how much do I really need to read to get better at English? That's a very good question, and I'm happy to talk about it with you. You see, reading a little bit is good, but reading a lot is even better. The more you read, the more you see English words again and again. And when your brain sees the same words many times, it starts to understand them naturally. You don't need to study hard or memorize everything. Your brain will do the work for you, quietly and slowly, while you enjoy your book. Many language experts say that if you want to make big progress in English, you need to read at least 1 million words. Now, I know that sounds like a very big number. You might say, 1 million? That's impossible. But don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. In fact, if you read just 10 to 20 minutes every day, you can reach that goal in 1 or 2 years. Let me explain how. Most English storybooks for beginners have about 5,000 to 10,000 words. If you read one book like that each week, you will read about 500,000 words in 1 year. And if you read a little more, maybe 2 small books a week, you can reach 1 million words easily. You don't have to count every word. Just enjoy your reading time every day. After a few months, you'll start to see changes. You'll understand more words. You'll read faster. You'll feel more confident when you speak or write. All of this happens because reading gives your brain the input it needs. Remember, reading is not like exercise at the gym. You don't have to push yourself until you're tired. Reading is more like taking a walk in a beautiful park. You enjoy the journey, step by step. Some days you'll read more, some days you'll read less. That's okay. What's important is that you keep going. The magic is in the habit. You can choose what you like. If you enjoy short stories, read those. If you love romance or science fiction, find books in those genres. If you prefer real-life topics, read news articles or biographies. There is no perfect book for everyone. The best book is the one that you enjoy and want to finish. That's how you build a reading habit. That's how you grow. And here's another important thing. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Many English learners feel nervous when they see new or difficult words. But you don't have to stop and check the dictionary every time. Just try to guess the meaning from the story. Look at the sentence, the pictures, or the situation. Most of the time, your brain will figure it out. If a book is too difficult, don't feel bad. Just choose an easier one. Easy books are not for children. They are for smart learners like you who know how to build a strong foundation. Even advanced learners read simple books to stay sharp. So be kind to yourself. Start where you are and enjoy the process. So, how much should you read? As much as you can. Start small. Read 10 minutes today. Tomorrow, maybe 15. In a few weeks, it will become part of your day, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. And before you know it, you'll be surprised at how much you've improved just by reading every day. So, now that you know how important reading is and how much reading you need to do to improve your English, you may ask a very common question. What should I read? This is an excellent question. In fact, choosing the right book is one of the most important steps in building a good reading habit. If the book is too difficult, you may feel frustrated. If it's too easy or boring, you may stop reading after a few pages. That's why choosing the right level and the right topic is so important. Let's start with your English level. If you are a beginner or lower intermediate learner, it's a good idea to start with graded readers. These are special books written just for English learners. They use easy vocabulary, simple grammar, and short sentences. Many famous stories have graded versions. For example, The Secret Garden, Dracula, Sherlock Holmes, or Jane Eyre. These books are carefully written, and each one has a level, such as Level 1, Level 2, and so on. This helps you choose a story that matches your ability. But how do you know if a book is the right level for you? There's a simple trick. Open the book and read one page. If you see more than 5 or 6 words you don't know, then the book might be too hard for now. It's better to choose an easier book so that you can enjoy reading without stopping too much to check the dictionary. Remember, reading should feel comfortable. It should be fun, not stressful. Now let's talk about the topic. What do you like to read about? Some people love stories full of action and adventure. Others enjoy romance, mystery, or history. Some people like real-life stories, biographies, news, or science. There is no best kind of story. The best story is the one that you want to read. If you choose something you enjoy, you will keep reading. You'll look forward to reading time every day. That's how you improve. If you are not sure what you like, try different types of reading material. Maybe start with a short story. Then try a comic book, a magazine article, or a book about animals, sports, or famous people. If you like watching movies or TV shows, find books that are connected to those stories. For example, if you love Harry Potter, you can read the simplified version of the books. If you like Marvel movies, you can find easy comic books with those characters. This makes reading more exciting because you already know something about the story. It's also helpful to read books with pictures, especially if you are a beginner. Pictures help you understand the meaning. They make the story more interesting and easier to follow. Don't think that picture books are only for children. Many language learners use them to build vocabulary and confidence. One more thing to remember. Try to read full books or full stories. Reading short texts is good, but finishing a book gives you a feeling of success. It gives you motivation to read more. You feel proud of yourself. And you should be. Reading a full book in English, no matter how easy, is a big achievement. So here's a quick summary. Choose a book that is not too difficult. Pick a topic that you enjoy. Try different types of reading materials. Don't be afraid to read easy books or books with pictures. Read full stories to build confidence. If you follow these steps, you'll find reading more enjoyable. You'll learn new words, see grammar in action, and feel more comfortable with English. Most importantly, you'll build a daily habit that helps you grow little by little, every day. Many people want to read every day, but they often say, "I don't have time." Maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you're busy with work, school, or family. Maybe you feel tired after a long day. That's completely normal. But the good news is, you don't need a lot of time to build a reading habit. You just need a little planning, a little motivation, and a few simple steps. Let's talk about how you can make reading a part of your everyday life, even if your schedule is full. First, let's understand what a habit really is. A habit is something you do regularly, like brushing your teeth, making your bed, or checking your phone. You don't think too much about it. You just do it. That's the goal for reading too. You want reading to feel like a natural part of your day, not something extra or difficult. And to build that habit, you need to start small and be consistent. So how small should you start? Just 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's it. You don't need to read for 1 hour every day in the beginning. Start with 5 minutes in the morning, or during lunch, or before bed. The key is to choose a time that works for you and repeat it every day. When you read at the same time every day, it becomes a habit faster. For example, you can say, "I'll read 1 page before breakfast," or "I'll read while I'm waiting for the bus," or "I'll read 10 minutes before I sleep." These small reading sessions can add up and make a big difference. Another tip is to keep your book near you. If you have your book on your desk, in your bag, or next to your bed, it will remind you to read. Some people even keep a book in the kitchen or bathroom. And if you prefer digital reading, you can use an e-book app on your phone. That way, you can read anytime, anywhere, even when you are standing in line or waiting for someone. Just open your app and read a few lines. Every little bit helps. It's also very helpful to track your progress. You can use a notebook, a calendar, or an app to write down how many minutes you read each day. When you see your progress, you feel good. You feel proud. It motivates you to continue. You can also set small goals for yourself like, "I will finish 1 book this month," or "I will learn 5 new words from each chapter." Goals give you direction and purpose. Now, let's be honest. Some days, you will feel tired or distracted. Maybe you'll forget to read. That's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. 1 missed day doesn't break the habit. Just try again the next day. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep going slowly and steadily. You're building a long-term skill, and that takes time and patience. And finally, reward yourself. When you finish a book or meet a reading goal, do something nice for yourself. Watch your favorite show, enjoy your favorite snack, or share your progress with a friend. Rewards make the habit more enjoyable and give you something to look forward to. Let's review the steps to build a daily reading habit. Start small, just 5 to 10 minutes a day. Choose a regular time to read every day. Keep your book or reading app nearby. Track your reading progress and set goals. Don't worry about missing a day, just keep going. Reward yourself for your progress. Reading is like exercise for your brain. If you do a little bit every day, you will get stronger, smarter, and more confident in English. You don't need to rush. Just keep going. Day by day, page by page, you will improve. Reading in English can sometimes feel like walking through a forest without a map. You might understand some words, but not the full meaning. You may ask yourself, "What is this paragraph trying to say?" Or, "Why did the writer use this sentence?" Don't worry, you're not alone. Many English learners face this problem. The good news is, understanding what you read is a skill. And just like any skill, you can improve it with simple strategies and daily practice. In this part, we will learn how to understand English reading materials more clearly and confidently. First, it's important to choose the right material for your level. If you're a beginner, don't try to read books that are too difficult or advanced. Start with simple English books, children's stories, or graded readers. These books are written for learners like you, and they use easy vocabulary and short sentences. When you read something that matches your level, you feel more confident. You enjoy the story more, and your brain doesn't get tired so quickly. Second, try to use the preview and predict method. Before you start reading a new chapter or page, take a moment to look at the title, the pictures, if there are any, and any bold or highlighted words. Ask yourself, what do I think this is about? This gives your brain a direction. Then, as you start reading, try to guess what might happen next. Making predictions helps you stay engaged and focused. It turns reading into an active experience, not just passive reading. Another useful tip is to read slowly and carefully. Don't rush. Many learners try to read fast, but that often leads to confusion. It's better to read one paragraph at a time and stop to think, what did I just read? If something is unclear, go back and read it again. Rereading is not a sign of weakness, it's a smart strategy. Even native speakers reread when they don't understand something. Now, what should you do when you see a difficult word? The first thing is, don't panic. If you understand the general idea of the sentence, you can often guess the meaning of the new word. This is called using context clues. Look at the other words around the unknown word. They can give you hints. For example, if you read, "The baby was sobbing loudly because he dropped his toy," and you don't know the word sobbing, you can guess it means crying because of the rest of the sentence. But if the word is very important and you can't guess the meaning, then you can look it up in a dictionary. Try to use a learner's dictionary like the Cambridge or Oxford Learner's Dictionary. These dictionaries explain words in simple English and often give examples. After checking the meaning, write it down in your notebook and try to use it in your own sentence. This helps you remember it better. Another powerful technique is to summarize what you read. After reading a paragraph or a page, pause and try to say or write in your own words what happened. This is called paraphrasing. You can ask yourself, what is the main idea? Who are the characters? What happened in this part of the story? When you explain the story to yourself, you understand it more deeply. You can even tell a friend or classmate what you read. That's a great way to practice speaking and comprehension together. Also, don't forget to ask questions while reading. Good readers always ask questions like, why did the character do that? Or, what might happen next? Or, what does this tell me about the story or topic? These questions keep your mind active. They help you connect with the material and remember it better. Let's go over these strategies again to help you understand what you read. Choose reading materials that match your English level. Preview the text and predict what it might be about. Read slowly and reread when needed. Use context to guess unknown words. Look up difficult words and write them down. Summarize and explain what you read in your own words. Ask questions as you read. Remember, understanding takes time. Don't be discouraged if you don't understand everything right away. Every time you read, your brain is learning and growing. The more you read, the easier it becomes. One day you'll be able to read English books with full confidence and enjoy every word.